And it's the sport. Maxie gone, Eric in for Mike. Glad you've tuned us in. Patrick Royce also not in the mix. Sid made it, as usual.
I'm the only guy.
And hey, Lavelle.
He has taken over. He has taken over the show. He's got what you get what you want, Sid. You're right here, front and center in the middle.
Not on every week, so.
Well, it's going to be a three-ring circus. I'll try to keep this thing under control. Sydney, Timberwolves. Nobody in the All-Star game, but Zach LaVine wins the dunk contest. Andrew Wiggins, the MVP of the Rising Stars game. The future's starting to look better.
Well, I think Flip's done a fantastic job. They second-guessed him last year when he made that trade. Both those guys are future outstanding players. Muhammad can be an outstanding player. The other guy, what's his name?
Wiggins.
No. I'm talking about last year's draft.
Muhammad.
Oh, Gorgie Zhang.
Yeah. He's a heck of a rebounder. Wiggins. I wouldn't trade Wiggins for Love in a moment. I think Wiggins will be better than Love all around. The Levine, he's done a 46 jump. He did it for the Lakers last year. He's something. I think Bennett's got a chance to be a player.
I don't.
I think they made a mistake getting rid of Mo Williams. I thought they should keep him. They won't keep Young because he's going to get $10 million, but they'll get a good lottery pick. I think their future is good.
All right,
I've been in a lot of games in my life, and I never seen a crowd stand for 15 minutes the way they did for those 3 games, Memphis, Cleveland, and
Miami.
Golden State. No.
And they beat Miami. Yeah. All right, Lavelle. J.R. Ryder won the slam dunk contest back in the mid-'90s. Is Zach LaVine going to have a better ending to his career than J.R. did?
Well, you hope so, definitely. You know, they got to find out his right spot. You know, it doesn't look like he's a true point guard. Now, maybe in a couple of years, as he gets some more experience, he could be able to handle that position a little bit better and maybe a supportive role. Looks like he's better as a number 2 guard. So, but. You know, I agree with Sid to a certain point. I think they've made some strides this year. They're going to have to continue to add some talent. I had no problems with them trading Mo Williams. When you're a rebuilding team, you make moves like that for a future piece. I don't know if Anthony Bennett's going to become a player, but Shabazz has made a lot of improvement in the second year, and you love where Wiggins is headed. The only problem is, will they get that number 1 pick? Because now they're going to shut down Carmelo Anthony as soon as his All-Star game is over for the rest of the season. They're going to do all they can to try to get as many chances to get that number 1 pick as possible.
Yeah, it'll be maybe like Patrick Ewing back in the day. Shabazz Muhammad, I like his game. He brings a lot of energy. Now, you think the Timberwolves are a year away from being in contention, right?
Maybe 2 years away.
All right.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. Rubio never played this well as he's playing right now. I thought he was the most overrated basketball player that they ever had here when they brought him in. He's improved his shooting of regular field goals. He's improved his shooting of three-pointers. He's a little down on free throws. His passing is unbelievable. That team is so much better that he's back.
Sid, but you want him to suck it up and play more, though. Instead of, like, sitting out when he's injured, you think he could be on the court a little bit more, don't you?
Yeah. Well, he's got to play more. There's no doubt about that. But so far, he's been outstanding.
Well, yeah, I agree. Now, your good friend, Bud Grant, says that it's not ability, it's durability, right? Pekovic,
right.
Martin, Rubio, when they're on the floor, they're good, but they have to stay on the floor.
Yeah. You got the big horse, number 14.
Peck.
He's hurt all the time. And they got to stay healthy.
Well, you know what, and it's too bad because the West is still such a strong conference, 1 through 8. The playoffs on that side are going to be a bloodbath. I mean, Oklahoma City could get in the playoffs as an 8 seed. And here's Golden State. They do well all year. They got like an 800 winning percentage. And then they're going to get a healthy Oklahoma City team possibly in the postseason. That shows you where that conference is at in terms of depth.
Yeah, if Oklahoma City's the 8th seed,
yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got below 500 teams in the East that'll make it maybe at 6, 7, and 8.
But the East is
disparity.
Better. The East is better, though. Memphis is doing well. Atlanta's had an amazing run. The Bulls are going to be there. And, you know, Cleveland gets act together and be a threat in the postseason as well.
Even before Rubio and those guys came back, they lost a lot of close games. They could have won some of those games, I'll tell you that.
Is Flip in it for the long haul from the coaching standpoint?
He's a coach. He wanted to coach from day one, and he was going to coach. I kept on writing and saying, talking on the radio and this show, that he'd coach from the start. I can't believe he ever tried to get a real top-notch coach. Maybe if he'd have got that Memphis guy, he might have done that. But otherwise, he wants a coach.
So Okafor's the answer if the ping pong balls go their way, Lavelle?
Choke for Oak. I've been screaming it for a month now. Choke for Oak. That's the way it should go. He had another strong game for Duke a couple days ago. He's got all the skill. He looks like he could step in the league and be productive right away. Like I said, it's going to be between the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Wolves for that first pick. And Royce seems to believe that the NBA is not going to allow this first pick to go somewhere other than L.A. or New York. There's going to be something's going to happen, and they'll end up with the first pick and not the Wolves.
Get ready for more conspiracy theories if Okafor ends up in New York or Los Angeles.
There's no way they would maneuver that thing. They've got an accounting firm doing that thing. If that ever came out,
I hope there's no NY logos on those ping pong balls. All right, don't go away. Much more sports show coming up.
Yeah.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King, for the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology, life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
You're watching CW-23. This order is an original, real ingredients fused with bold flavor. Original doesn't fit in a box. That's why we use a wrapper. Welcome to the best part of your day.
Taco John's. Unwrap the original.
The fact is, when you engineer a truck like Ram 3500 with the best towing, the best torque, best payload, and Ram 1500 with the best fuel economy, you'll discover those who work the hardest need more room to play. Get a great deal during Ram Truck Month.
Well-qualified current pickup truck owners get a low-mileage lease on the 2015 Ram 1500 Express Quad Cab 4x4 for $289 a month.
I'm hungry. I can't see the board.
Good morning, class. Everyone ready to learn today?
Of course they aren't ready. Across America, health barriers keep millions of disadvantaged school children from learning. Children's Health Fund is working to remove those barriers. But to really change the odds for these kids, we need your help. To find out how you can give every child a chance to be healthy and ready to learn, visit childrenshealthfund.org today.
Bun, 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 better.
Taco John's Fish Tacos with wild-caught fish, fajita sour cream, and a fresh lime. Hey, different. Taco John's. Unwrap the original.
See why more people are coming to Audi than ever before at Audi Minneapolis. Experience the legendary performance and handling of an A4 2.0 T Quattro. Lease yours for only $379 a month. Plus, Audi Minneapolis will make your first month's payment. Or try out the luxury and power of an A6. Lease for just $499 a month. The Summer of Audi event at Audi Minneapolis on 394 at General Mills Boulevard and at Minneapolis.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of Ribs, fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
And the sports show, as always, brought to you by J.D. Hoyt Supper Club, locally owned, nationally known. Chopsteak Seafood. It's on Washington Avenue in Minneapolis. J.D. Hoyt's favorite place of Sid Hartman. All right, we're back. Lavelle is going to be with us for a couple of days, and then he's off to Southwest Florida, spring training. Excellent piece you had on Torrey Hunter, Lavelle. You were down in North Texas at his mansion.
I spent 3 days with Torrey at his place in Prosper, Texas. What a place. You know, it's got its own gate. He's got a full regulation-sized basketball court in there with a scoreboard and stands. You know, he's got a huge weight room with a hyperbaric chamber. He's got a super-duper man cave, all his awards and all his pictures and stuff. And the man has done well for himself. I looked it up. I think he's earned $163 million in his career, and that's not including the 10.5 that he's making this year. So can Torrey still have it? Yeah, you hope so. He's going to be an asset in the clubhouse and as a mentor. He's aged gracefully to this point. He turns 40 in July. We won't know until he gets on the field and starts running around and see how productive he can be. But he's right. Most of the game is mental. And right now he's got the smarts to be able to figure out ways to get on base.
But is his kid still in Notre Dame?
He has his son, Torrey Hunter Jr., is a wide receiver for Notre Dame. He plays with David Robinson's son, who's also a wide receiver there. And his other son, Monshadrick, his nickname is Money. He's a safety for Arkansas State. So he's got 2 kids playing Division I college football.
Is that right?
Yes.
You've been a Twins since day one. Is Torrey as popular as Killebrew was, or Puckett or Herbeck? I mean, he seems to have that it factor.
I think he'll light up that clubhouse. I got a bad cold, so I apologize.
You sound better, actually.
Yeah.
To me, they had no leader in that clubhouse last year. You'd walk in there, it was a dull, boring clubhouse. He'll light it up, and he'll do a lot for him. And I think he'll produce too. He had a pretty good year last year for Detroit, but I think he'll make a big difference. But the big negative, I think, is you got the White Sox really added some people. Detroit will be just as good. Cleveland's pretty good. Kansas City, I think, is going to be hurt.
Well, and they're the American League champions, so you can't sleep on them. And Lavelle, I was going to bring that up. That division, top to bottom, there's no easy out. I know. You know, at Twins Fest, there was so much optimism going around, and you walked out thinking, there's no way this team's going to lose 90 games again this year. But all the preseason predictions have the Twins losing between 90 and 95 games and being like the 28th, 29th, or 30th ranked team in all Major League Baseball. So they're definitely coming in to this season. They're going to have to prove that they're better than what they are. And if they can get Ricky Nolasco turned around in that rotation, they've got 4 guys who can win 13, 14, 15 games, and they will start. That's how you start to kind of rebound and turn things around. And then by the end of the year, there's some of the good prospects to be up. So, but I just can't see them being another 90-loss team. I know that division's better, but I can't see them losing that many games again.
Let me ask you this. Hasn't Kansas City gone backward?
A little bit.
Lost Shields?
Yeah, they lost Shields. They lost a couple.
They lost somebody else?
The designated hitter, Billy Butler, is in Oakland now.
Huh?
Their designated hitter, Billy Butler. He's in Oakland now.
Who else did they lose?
It was one other person they lost. So they're trying to replace some people. They went after Torrey. The Royals were the second team really pursuing Torrey during the offseason, but Torrey decided to come back to Minnesota. Not anybody noteworthy. They didn't make any impact offseason moves, but they're still a solid team. They've still got some good pitching. They still have a heck of a bullpen, so they can still be competitive. The AL Central is going to be a bloodbath this year.
Sid, where are the Twins in terms of selling tickets? There's been a slow erosion. How will that play out?
There's no doubt they're hurting. I mean, they aren't close to their first year. But I think if they, Molitor will draw some people. I think if they show they can win, if, like he says, They got 4 pitchers who win 13, 14 games. I think they'll draw people. I think the ballpark attracts people. I think a lot of people don't even watch the game. They're up there drinking, they're up there eating, they're up there doing
That's
things.
why I call it trendy target field.
Baseball
exactly
isn't
right.
the whole thing.
I agree with that, but there's some names I'm going to toss out. Vargas, Danny Santana. To me, there's some young guys that maybe are reason to go out there.
And going into their second year now, the thing you have to watch out for is see how the league adjusts young men after they've had some success in the league and how they adjust to those adjustments. Vargas kind of scuffled late in September, the last couple of weeks of the season. Santana, was pretty steady, and he hit out of his mind on batting. His batting average of balls put in play was ridiculous last year. Can he keep that up this year? And like I said, teams are going to scout them heavily now. There's tape on them. There's reports on them. And they've got to prove they can stay one step ahead of the advanced scout.
Phil Hughes, still the ace?
The only negative I really see, you need a center fielder that can not only field but can hit. And they don't have that. Unless they keep Santana out there. And Molitor wants to play Santana.
But it's Hicks and center right now, isn't it?
It should be Hicks. If not, it's going to be Jordan Schaefer.
Okay.
My thing is, I'm more worried about the defense than the offense because the Twins were 5th in the American League in runs scored last season. During the second half of the year, they were 3rd in baseball in runs scored. So this team can score some runs. I'm worried about defense. Even if the center fielder doesn't hit, if his name is Jordan or Aaron, it doesn't matter. I want to see what the corner outfielders do in terms of helping out the overall range of that outfield. Oswaldo Arcia likes to think he can make every play on the field, and it gets him into trouble. He's got to kind of take the machismo out of his game when making decisions about what balls he should go crash into the wall after. And Torrey's got to prove he's got more range than the stats show. The stats show that he was one of the worst right fielders in the game last year. So I'm kind of worried about that whole defensive look out there.
Yeah, and when the Twins used to win, they were defensively. All right, Sports Show will continue after this.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Allery's, the original St. Paul sports bar, now with 65 beers on tap.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then, a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, recording your results. Call now to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Thanks for watching CW-23.
In a world full of compromise, the Audi A3 takes a different path. Get uncompromised design, the style and presence of Audi in a lighter, smaller form, uncompromised performance, a lightning-quick turbocharged engine, and race-bred S-tronic transmission. Uncompromised luxury with standard leather seating and panoramic sunroof. Lease your A3 event, Audi Minneapolis.
And the Sports Show brought to you by Audi 93 93 or go online TwinCitiesAudiDealers.com. Check it out, Audi Minneapolis. All right, Sid, your favorite sport, hockey. The Minnesota Wild, since the All-Star break, are scorching hot. Nobody in the NHL is playing better hockey, and this goalie, Devin Dubnyk, he might be the MVP of the team.
You got to give the owner, you got to give the general manager and the coach credit. I mean, everybody thought they were going to fold, but they got a goaltender, and all of a sudden they started to go crazy. And they won 11 of 12 games. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, and like the NBA Western Conference, the NHL Western Conference, very competitive. Lavelle, they've made up a lot of ground, but they're still not a playoff team yet, and they got to go out to Canada this week.
That's right. They got Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton this week, and they had to keep the roll going. And I tell you what, when you're coming back from as far down as the Wild is, it takes a lot of energy to kind of get back in that playoff race. Can they sustain this ridiculous momentum they've got right now, and can they stay hot? It doesn't help they have a couple fresh injuries now. Jason Zucker is a big loss for them because he was giving them some scoring, and that speed is something that's an asset on the ice. But Dubnyk's been playing incredible, and I think the rest of the team has got a lot of confidence with him behind them on the ice. And we'll see how long this run. I just can't see them maintaining this ridiculous pace they're on. They've gotten a point in 10 straight games,
which is I believe a franchise record.
So
Dubnyk, he's young, he's big. They like these goalies big now. He's got 5 shutouts. Is he the big picture guy? Can they fit him into the cap and make him their guy?
Well, I think the combination of the goaltender and the combination of the defense playing a lot better. I think then they got some people healthy who were hurt, so they're full strength. They lost a couple of guys recently,
Zucker,
but for a period there, they were healthy. They had everybody ready to play, and I got to give that Mike, the coach, a lot of credit because he survived the whole thing, and they're just playing great.
They are playing great, but the bar's pretty high, and I would say Laval, they still got to get in. I mean, this is a team that expected to go deep in the playoffs at the beginning of the year.
And once you get in, if you got a hot goaltender who's, I hate using the phrase, standing on his head, I know they say that a lot, but you get a goalie that's standing on his head in the postseason, you can make a run, you can knock off some higher seeds, and have a nice little postseason. So, and Parise has been playing very well lately. Koivu's played better as well, and they've got to keep it up. Like I said, usually when you're making a late charge like that, it takes a lot of energy. And can they maintain this?
And they had a lot of former Gophers score goals against Carolina last night, huh? For the Wild. A lot of the ex-Gophers got in on the act against the Hurricanes. Who? No, for Minnesota.
For Minnesota.
Yeah, Howla.
The Gopher hockey team.
On the Wild now. By the way, the Gopher hockey team did win twice. So are they back to where they need to be?
They've won 4 games in a row. It was disappointing. You got 15 guys on that team who were drafted, and they were #1 the first month or so. But it seems like their goaltender has come around, Wilcox, and they're playing a lot better.
Swept Michigan this week at
Michigan was the 11th rated team in the league.
And Gophers unranked. Laval don't have Minnesota unranked. I mean, this is the Yankees of college hockey, isn't it?
They were playing horribly, though. They were playing like some... They lost to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's absolutely awful. They lost to the Badgers. They brought so many guys back from the team and went to the championship last year. They just weren't bringing it. They weren't bringing it, and now maybe this weekend the light switch is on. And now they're starting to show their talent. Now, one of my friends said that Riley had played as well defensively as he has all year. They went out and pounded Michigan 62. And usually when a team gets clobbered like that in game 1, sometimes they come out a little flat or demoralizing in the second game. And Michigan skated with them. They came at them hard, but the Gophers pulled out a 1-0 win still. So I'm curious to see what the pairwise rankings are this week with Minnesota.
I think they might be ranked. But you're a big Don Lucia guy. You never wavered on Don Lucia, did you?
No, I didn't. I mean, his overall record is outstanding. I mean, he had a little slump this year. How can you get on him? It's like when they fired Flip Saunders. He goes to the Western Finals, loses the Lakers, next year they fire him. They fired the Viking football coach after he almost went to the Super Bowl. I don't see why people do that.
Yeah. It's a business.
The state of college hockey in Minnesota has gotten really competitive. Duluth, Mankato, St. Cloud, competitive programs, but it's still the U. And to me, the Gophers should be in the playoff run conversation every year. You get to pick up most of the top prospects. How hard do they have to recruit? Kids are born wanting to play hockey for the U. They should be in it every year.
Yeah, that should be like Kentucky basketball. Yeah. Every year you're in the hunt. All right, one more segment to go. We are the Sports Show.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Case Law, for all your legal needs, not your typical law firm. Griffin Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us. And Edge Marketing and Promotional Products. From T-shirts to swag, featuring over 100,000 products. We can put your logo on anything.
If you guys could go on a shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yes, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to ticketkingonline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
You're watching CW-23.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Beacon Bank, responsive, reliable, reassuring. Always great to get into Beacon Bank. We've got our own beacon here on the sports show, our guiding light. Sid, your Gopher basketball team, they really needed to get the game tonight at Bloomington, Indiana, but the Hoosiers were just lights out from beyond the arc. A lot of 3 balls and they lose.
They had no chance to beat Indiana. Indiana's got some real talent. I mean, they beat Iowa. Iowa got beat by Northwestern today. Northwestern had lost 10 straight games, and they beat Iowa today in overtime. So I don't think the Gophers are going to win the NIT title this year. I don't think they're going to go to the NCAA this year. I don't think they have the talent to win many road games.
And Northwestern will be at the barn Wednesday, but you know, you dig a hole like the Gophers have, Lavelle, and you have to almost be perfect down the stretch.
Well, I mean, the Gophers have their flaws, man. When Maurice Walker comes out of the game, they're vulnerable under the basket. You know, it can only take like 1 or 2 breaks, and they got to get back in, and, you know, heaven forbid that he gets into foul trouble, and they're really in trouble. It was weird because I was listening to the pregame show, and Richard Pitino came out and said how proud he was of their defensive effort in their last game, and then they go out and give up 90 to Indiana. You know? And it's tough. But I said it is tough to win on the road in most conferences, especially the Big Ten, where I think the referees are kind of homerish, in which the calls usually go toward the home team in the Big Ten.
Well, I think Indiana has beaten 4 ranked teams at home this season.
And Yogi Ferrell may be the best guard. Best point in Big Ten.
So the Gophers are in deep trouble. The Vikings publicly now, Mark Wolf, Kevin Warren, Mike Zimmer, they're all saying we want Adrian Peterson back. Is it going to happen?
It'll happen. They'll pay Peterson what they have to pay him this year. With the new stadium going up and trying to sell those money tickets and everything else about the stadium, they'll pay him whatever they have to pay him to keep him.
Do you agree with that?
I think so, but I'm guessing there'll be some sort of renegotiation and maybe bring down the salary just a little bit. But I expect to see Adrian Peterson back. I don't have any inside information on that. I just think you're reading all the tea leaves and you see the signals out there. Both sides apparently want the other. So I expect to see AP in the uniform for the Vikings, and that's a tremendous development for a team that has a quarterback that looks like he is going to be the man.
Teddy Bridgewater just got a little bit better. Thanks, guys. Sports Show, we're out of time.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King, for the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Sound Point Audiology, life is worth hearing.